The rain had just started to fall when a little girl, no older than 7, ran barefoot into the middle of the road, waving her arms desperately. Her small voice cut through the growl of engines and thunder. "Please! Please arrest me," she cried out, her face streaked with tears and mud. The group of leather-clad bikers screeched to a halt, tires hissing on wet asphalt. The leader, a tall man with a scar running down his cheek, killed the engine and stared at her in disbelief. No one spoke. The wind carried only the sound of the girl's sobs and the faint rumble of the storm. The question hung heavy in the air: why would a child beg strangers to arrest her? What could be so terrible that she wanted to be taken away? The leader, known among his crew as Blade, knelt to her level. "Hey, kid, what's going on? Where are your parents?" he asked gently. She looked up, trembling, clutching a torn backpack to her chest as if it were armor. "Please," she whispered, "I stole something. You have to take me to jail before he finds me." Blade's chest tightened. Around him, the other bikers shifted uncomfortably, their tattoos and leather making them look like the last people a child should be running to for help. But something in her voice, raw, broken, and desperate, made them stay. They gathered her under a nearby gas station awning. Rain hammered the tin roof as Blade handed her his jacket. The girl was shaking, her lips turning blue. She looked at them with wide, fearful eyes, like someone who had seen far more than a child ever should. "My name's Lily," she said finally. "I took his wallet, my stepdad's. I needed money to get away." Her words hit like lightning. The bikers exchanged glances. They'd all known pain, loss, and anger, but hearing it from such a tiny voice was something else entirely. Lily's story spilled out between shivers. Her stepfather had been hurting her mother, and when she tried to stop him, he turned his rage on both of them. Last night, things got worse. Her mom told her to run, to get as far as she could and not look back. So she grabbed the only money she could find, escaped through a broken window, and ended up on this road. But now she was scared the police would think she was a thief, that no one would believe her. "That's why I said arrest me," she whispered, eyes brimming. "It's safer in jail than at home." For a long moment, no one spoke. The bikers were outlaws in reputation, but they weren't heartless. Most of them had come from broken homes themselves. Blade took a slow breath, then nodded. "You're not going to jail, Lily," he said quietly. "You're coming with us." The next few hours were a blur of rain, headlights, and roaring engines. The bikers formed a protective circle around Lily as they rode, stopping at a small diner on the edge of town. There, Blade made some calls, to a friend who worked with a local shelter, to another who knew people in child services. Lily fell asleep in a booth, her tiny hand clutching Blade's glove. When she woke, she saw something she hadn't seen in years: people who cared. But things took a darker turn when the diner door burst open and a furious man stomped inside, shouting her name. "Where's my stepdaughter?" he demanded. His face was red with rage, his eyes wild. Lily froze. The bikers stood up as one. Blade stepped between them. "You mean our little sister," he said coldly. The man tried to push past, but a wall of bikers surrounded him. The air turned electric. "She's coming home with me," the man spat. Blade shook his head. "Not a chance. You're done hurting her." The police arrived moments later, called by one of the bikers outside. It turned out the man had a long record of domestic violence, something Lily's mother had tried to hide. When they cuffed him and led him away, Lily buried her face in Blade's chest, sobbing, not in fear this time, but relief. Weeks passed. The bikers visited Lily often at the shelter. Her mother, recovering in a safe house, slowly got back on her feet. On weekends, the bikers took Lily out for rides on quiet country roads, her laughter echoing through the wind. She wore a small leather vest now, handmade and covered in patches. Across the back, stitched in gold thread, were the words "Biker Family." Months later, during a charity ride organized to raise awareness for abused children, Lily stood on a small stage beside Blade. Her voice trembled as she spoke to the crowd. "I used to think bikers were scary," she said, looking out at hundreds of riders revving their engines in support. "But the scariest people aren't the ones who look tough, they're the ones who hurt others. These bikers, they saved my life." The crowd erupted in applause, and for a moment, the world seemed a little brighter. Blade smiled, pride glinting in his eyes. The little girl who once begged to be arrested had found her freedom, not in a cell, but in the hearts of people who refused to let her break, and as the engines thundered and the sun broke through the clouds, Lily climbed onto the back of Blade's bike, her hair flying in the wind. This time, she wasn't running away. She was finally going home, to a new life, a new family, and the open road ahead. Sometimes, heroes wear leather instead of capes. And sometimes, the smallest cry for help can awaken the biggest hearts.